Hello and welcome back to Mr. English Lab. My name is Ava, and I'm here to guide you on your journey to clear, confident, and natural English. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a lesson. Your support truly helps this channel grow. All right, take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin today's session. I want to begin this story with a simple picture. Imagine you wake up in the morning and, before your eyes even open fully, you hear it, that small, sharp ticking sound from the clock on your wall. Tick, tick, tick. It almost feels louder than usual today, like the sound is not only inside your room but also inside your mind. And suddenly, without touching anything, without moving at all, you feel something strange, something heavy, as if time is trying to speak to you. That small ticking sound feels like a message. And the message is saying, I never stop. I never slow down. I never wait. Let me take you into another picture now. Imagine you are holding a small bowl filled with water. The bowl is full, right up to the top. If you walk slowly and carefully, the water stays inside. But if you move too fast, or if you stop paying attention, the water slips out. It falls. It disappears. Time is exactly like that water. We all have the same amount of water in our bowl each day. We all get 24 hours. Not 1 minute more, not 1 minute less. But the way we move, the way we think, the way we plan, that decides whether our water stays safe or whether it spills away. Now, I want to tell you a story about a young man named Daniel. Daniel was not special in the beginning. He was not born with some perfect skill. He did not have perfect test scores. He was like many people, sometimes late, sometimes confused, sometimes overwhelmed by all the things he had to do. In fact, when he woke up every morning, he almost felt like the day was already running ahead of him. He felt he was always trying to catch up, always trying to fix something, always trying to complete something he should have done earlier. And the more he tried, the more tired he became. Maybe you have felt that too. Maybe you know that feeling when you want to do many things, but time feels too small, too fast, too slippery. Let's go back to Daniel. One evening, he was sitting at his small wooden desk, his room dark except for the soft yellow light from his study lamp. Papers were everywhere. His notebook was open, but he wasn't writing. He just kept staring at the pages, his mind full of noise. He had an exam, a project, a meeting, and a long list of tasks. He whispered to himself, "Why does it feel like I never have enough time?" But in that moment, he didn't realize something important. Something simple, but powerful. He didn't lack time. He lacked control. And this is where our story truly begins. Let me slow this down for you, because this is not only Daniel's story. It is also your listening practice, your English learning journey, and yes, maybe also a mirror of your own life. So I want you to hear every word clearly. Take a deep breath. Let the words flow slowly to you, like a calm river. That night, as Daniel sat there feeling lost, he suddenly noticed something. The same ticking sound we talked about earlier, the clock on his wall, it suddenly felt louder. Tick, tick, tick. He looked at it for the first time. He didn't just see the numbers. He saw the seconds. He saw movement. He saw something alive, something that never rested. And he felt a small question forming inside him. If time never stops moving, why do I keep standing still? This question stayed with him. Even when he closed his eyes. Even when he tried to sleep. And this simple question is what I want you to think about today too. Because when we understand time not as an enemy but as a partner, everything in our life begins to change. The next morning, Daniel woke up early. Earlier than usual. The room was still quiet, and the sky outside his window was a soft blue-gray. He looked at his clock, and instead of feeling pressure, he felt something new: curiosity. He opened a notebook and wrote one sentence. Today, I will not chase time. I will guide it. Very simple words. But simple words can create powerful change. Just like simple English can change how you listen and speak. Now imagine Daniel sitting there with his fresh notebook. The air feels soft and a little cold. The street outside is still waking up. And for the first time in many days, his mind feels clear. Not perfect, but clear enough to take one small step. He closes his eyes gently and asks himself, what do I want my day to look like? What is the most important thing I need to do today? Not 10 things. Not 20 things. Just one. One thing that truly matters. And slowly, he begins to write. Not paragraphs. Not long, complicated plans. Just simple lines. A plan that feels light, not heavy. A schedule that feels possible, not impossible. A day that feels like his, not something he is running behind. This moment is quiet. But it is powerful. Because this is the moment his life begins to change. Time has always been there. But now, for the first time, he is ready to understand it. Ready to work with it. Ready to respect it. My friend, time management is not about doing everything. It is not about being perfect. It is not about filling every minute with action. Time management is about clarity and choice and calm control. And through Daniel's story, you will learn how to feel that clarity in your own mind and how to hear English with that same calm understanding. But we are only at the beginning. This is just the first chapter of a long journey, a journey where you and Daniel discover what time really means, how to manage it, and how it can change your life when you stop chasing it and start guiding it. And now the question begins. What happens when Daniel tries to plan his day for the first time? Does it go well? Does he struggle? Does he discover something new? Let's continue. The morning air felt fresh and soft as Daniel stepped out of his room. The sky was still painted in the early shades of dawn, a mixture of light blue and soft gold. Birds were quiet, but if he listened closely, he could hear the faint hum of the city waking up. And Daniel realized something that morning. Time was moving, yes, but he didn't have to chase it. He could move with it. He could guide it. For the first time, he felt a small sense of calm that he hadn't felt in months. He sat at his small desk again, notebook open, pen in hand, and thought carefully. He asked himself a simple question: what is the one thing that really matters today? And then he wrote it down. Not 5 tasks. Not 10. Not the long list he had been overwhelmed with. Just one. Finish the report for my team. That was it. Simple. Clear. Possible. And even though it was only one thing, Daniel felt something inside him shift. His brain, which had felt cluttered and tired, now had space to breathe. Daniel looked at his clock. Tick. 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 He smiled a little because now the sound felt different. Not like pressure. Not like warning. Tick. 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 A rhythm. A partner. He thought, I will use this rhythm, not fight it. And he started to plan his day in the simplest way possible. He divided his morning into small blocks of time. 30 minutes for emails, 1 hour for the report, 15 minutes to take a small break. And he wrote these blocks in his notebook. Nothing fancy. No apps. No complicated planners. Just paper and pen. He realized something important as he wrote. Time is not a river that pushes you forward. Time is a friend who can walk beside you if you are willing to slow down and listen. He remembered how he used to rush, to multitask, to try to do 10 things at once. And all it did was make him exhausted. Today, he would do things one by one. Slowly. Clearly. Carefully. And he felt excitement for the first time in weeks. Daniel began with emails. He didn't check social media. He didn't open his phone for messages. He focused only on what he had written. One task at a time. And something interesting happened. Time felt longer. The ticking of the clock was no longer a stressor. It became a guide. Tick, tick, tick. Step by step, line by line, email by email. And he finished that first task. He felt small victory, a feeling he had forgotten. That small success was powerful. It gave him energy to continue. Next, Daniel moved to the report. He closed his eyes for a moment and imagined the finished report. Not in a complicated way, just a simple vision. He imagined it complete, clear, organized. Then he broke the report into 3 sections: introduction, main points, conclusion. One by one, he tackled each section. The words flowed slowly, naturally, as if his mind and his pen were dancing together. And here is something important, my friend. Daniel did not pressure himself to write perfectly. He wrote clearly, slowly, with thought. And that clarity helped him speak English clearly too. Every simple word, every simple sentence became easier to understand and to remember. Halfway through the report, Daniel paused. He drank a glass of water. He looked out the window. The sun was rising higher now. A few people were walking on the street. A dog barked somewhere in the distance. And Daniel smiled. It was a small moment, but a very important one. In the past, he would have ignored these moments. He would have rushed through them. But now he noticed them. And noticing simple things like sunlight, a gentle breeze, the small movements of life, it helped him stay present. And being present is a secret key to both time management and learning English naturally. When you are present, every word, every sentence, every sound becomes easier to understand. As the morning moved forward, Daniel noticed a new feeling inside him. Confidence. Not arrogance. Not loud or forced confidence. Just calm, quiet confidence that he could control his day. And this confidence made something else possible. He began to speak more clearly when he read his report aloud. Sentences that felt awkward in the past now rolled off his tongue easily. Words that seemed complicated before now felt simple because he was patient. And my friend, this is exactly how English learning works too. Slow, careful, deliberate steps bring clarity and confidence. Daniel's phone rang suddenly. It was a friend asking for help on a project. In the past, he would have felt pressured. He would have said yes immediately, juggling tasks, losing control of his time. But now he smiled and said something simple. I can help you at 3 p.m. Right now, I am finishing my report. A small, polite, confident boundary. And do you know what happened? His friend respected it. They agreed. And Daniel didn't feel guilty. He realized that managing time is not about being selfish. It's about making space for what truly matters. And in this space, everything becomes better: your work, your learning, and even your relationships. By noon, Daniel finished the report. He took another small break. He stretched his arms, breathed deeply, and looked back at his notebook. He saw how small, simple steps had made a huge difference. Tick, tick, tick. The clock continued its rhythm. And Daniel now felt rhythm, flow, control. Something he had never felt before. He smiled to himself and wrote one line in his notebook. Time works with me, not against me. Simple words. Powerful idea. And here is an interesting thing. Daniel noticed that even English learning could work the same way. One small step at a time. One word at a time. One sentence at a time. No rushing. No forcing. And that slow, steady process brought results. Words felt clearer. Listening became easier. Speaking became smoother. The day felt longer, not because time had changed, but because Daniel had changed the way he experienced it. As the afternoon arrived, Daniel moved on to another small task, reading a short article in English. He read slowly, sentence by sentence, imagining the words, saying them quietly to himself. He paused after each paragraph, repeating phrases that were important. Tick, tick, tick. The clock never stopped. And Daniel never felt pressure. He was learning English, practicing focus, and managing time all at once. And that's the beauty of this process. Simple, clear steps. Patience. Attention. Presence. By late afternoon, Daniel was finishing his planned tasks. And he realized something amazing. His day, which had felt impossible in the past, had become manageable, even joyful. Tasks that once caused stress now felt achievable. He looked at his notebook again. The list he had made in the morning was complete. Small steps, clear focus, calm presence. This simple method had transformed the day. And my friend, it can transform yours too. Finally, Daniel paused and reflected. He thought about the mornings when he rushed, when he ignored small moments, when he allowed distractions to control him. He thought about the mornings he felt overwhelmed and frustrated. And then he thought about this morning. The calm morning, the guided steps, the slow, clear work. And he realized time management is not about being faster. It's about being aware. It's about making conscious choices. And every choice, even small, simple ones, creates transformation. Before dinner, Daniel wrote one more line in his notebook. Today I guided time. Tomorrow I will do it again. Every day, step by step, moment by moment. And he smiled. Because he knew something important. Time had always been there. Always ticking. Always moving. But now he was ready. Ready to walk with it, not run from it. Ready to learn, to work, to live with awareness. Ready to speak English, practice listening, and grow every day. And this is the lesson for you, my friend. Small steps, focus, and patience create results. When you respect time, when you guide it, when you live with presence, everything you're learning, you're speaking, you're listening, becomes clearer, easier, and more enjoyable. Daniel's story is just a story, but it is also a reflection. A reflection of what is possible for you. Tick, tick, tick. The clock continues. And you can continue too. Daniel's evening began calmly. After a day where he felt in control of his time, he thought he could relax and enjoy a quiet night. But as we all know, life often has a way of testing us, especially when we start to grow. And Daniel was about to learn something important, something that would challenge his new understanding of time management. It started with a simple message on his phone. An email from his professor. Daniel, I hope you are doing well. There is an urgent assignment due tomorrow. I need you to submit it by 10 a.m. That one line made Daniel pause. His stomach tightened slightly. His mind raced for a moment. He thought, but I already planned my evening. I planned my tasks. How will I manage this? This, my friend, is the reality of life. Time management is never just about following a perfect plan. Life interrupts. Unexpected things appear. And how we respond to them defines whether we feel stress or control. Daniel took a deep breath. He remembered the morning. He remembered the slow, calm approach. And he asked himself a simple question. What can I do right now? Not panic. Not worry. Just this moment. He opened his notebook and wrote, Step 1. Understand the task. Step 2. Break it into small pieces. Step 3. Start now. Nothing complicated. Nothing overwhelming. Just small steps. And in this way, Daniel began to regain his calm. He realized that the key to managing unexpected challenges is the same as managing planned tasks: clarity and focus. Daniel read the assignment carefully. It was longer than he expected. It required research, writing, and proofreading. Normally, he would feel trapped, anxious, and confused. But now he looked at it differently. He broke it into smaller sections: research, outline, draft, review. and he assigned each section a small block of time. 30 minutes for research, 20 minutes for the outline, 40 minutes for the first draft. And he wrote these times in his notebook. Tick, tick, tick. Time was still moving. But Daniel was ready to move with it, not against it. He started the research section. Normally, Daniel would have tried to read everything at once, scanning many articles quickly, feeling overwhelmed. But today, he focused on one article at a time. He read slowly, sentence by sentence, imagining the words, even saying some phrases aloud quietly. This was not only helping him understand the assignment. It was helping him practice English listening and speaking naturally. Simple words, clear sentences, patient focus. And as he worked, he noticed something beautiful. His mind was calmer than ever. After 30 minutes, he paused. He wrote a few key notes in his notebook, then closed the article. And here's an important point for you, my friend. Daniel did not try to finish everything at once. He didn't try to conquer the whole assignment in one go. He allowed himself breaks. He allowed himself small victories. And this is what time management is really about, not rushing, not stress, but patience, awareness, and deliberate focus. But life was not done testing him. Just as Daniel was about to start outlining, the phone rang again. It was his sister asking for help with a family problem. Daniel felt a small pang of stress. He knew he had to choose. And now we see a very important lesson. Time management is not about having more hours. It is about making choices and respecting boundaries. Daniel said something simple, calm, and honest. I can help you after 8 p.m. Right now, I am working on an assignment that is due tomorrow. He didn't apologize. He didn't over-explain. He simply stated the truth. And do you know what happened? His sister understood. She agreed. And Daniel didn't feel guilt. He realized that saying no is not a weakness. It is a necessary skill when you want to guide time, not be pushed by it. He went back to the assignment and focused on outlining. He wrote small points, simple sentences, not worrying about perfection. Tick, tick, tick. Time kept moving. And Daniel moved with it. By the end of the outline, he felt something surprising: confidence. Confidence that comes from small, deliberate action. Confidence that comes from respecting time, not fearing it. And here's something amazing. The calm and clarity he felt also helped him read and think in English more clearly. Words that used to confuse him now made sense because he slowed down and focused. Next, Daniel started the draft. And here is where the real challenge began. The draft required more thought. It required connecting ideas. It required sentences that made sense. And Daniel realized something powerful. The bigger the task, the more important it is to break it into small, simple steps. He wrote one paragraph at a time, reading each aloud. He checked his grammar slowly. He rewrote sentences carefully. Tick, tick, tick. Time was still moving. But Daniel was no longer afraid of it. Halfway through the draft, he felt fatigue. His eyes hurt slightly. His mind wanted to wander. And now we see a very important lesson about time management and learning English. Recognize fatigue, allow small breaks, but never quit entirely. Daniel stood up, stretched, drank water, and walked to the window. He saw the street lights turning on. Evening had arrived. The city had not waited for him, but he had waited for himself. And that small pause gave him renewed energy. He returned to the desk and finished the first draft. He felt proud. Not because it was perfect, but because he had done it calmly, clearly, and effectively. Tick, tick, tick. And he realized something amazing. Challenges are not problems. Challenges are opportunities to test your approach, to improve, to learn. And when you face challenges calmly, you not only manage time, but you also improve your skills, your English skills, your focus, your confidence. Finally, Daniel spent the last 30 minutes reviewing and proofreading. He read sentences aloud. He noticed small mistakes. He corrected them. And he felt satisfaction. A real satisfaction that comes from working steadily, not rushing. Tick, tick, tick. And he wrote one line in his notebook, "Even when life surprises me, I can guide my time." Simple words. Strong meaning. As Daniel put away his notebook and closed his laptop, he felt a quiet sense of accomplishment. The day had been longer than expected. Challenges had appeared. Interruptions had come. But he had managed. Slowly, clearly, deliberately. And he realized that time management is not about avoiding challenges. It is about moving through them with patience and awareness. And here is the final thought for this section. Every unexpected challenge, every interruption, every surprise in life is a chance to practice control, awareness, and calm focus. Tick, tick, tick. Time continues. And if you move slowly, carefully, and clearly, every challenge becomes an opportunity, not a stressor. Just like Daniel learned, and just like you can learn. The night ended quietly. Daniel reflected on the day. He had completed the urgent assignment, maintained boundaries, and practiced his English. And for the first time, he felt something important. Time was no longer his enemy. Time had become a partner, a teacher, a guide. And this feeling was powerful. Because once you experience this, every day becomes manageable. Every learning task becomes achievable. Every goal becomes closer. But as calm as the night seemed, Daniel also knew something else. Tomorrow would bring new tasks, new challenges, and new surprises. And he knew he had to continue practicing, continue learning, continue guiding time, one step at a time. Tick, tick, tick. The rhythm continues. And Daniel's journey is just beginning. The next morning arrived quietly. Daniel woke up to the soft light of early dawn spilling into his room, painting everything in gentle shades of gold and blue. Tick, tick, tick. The clock on his wall reminded him that time never stops, never waits, never slows down. And for the first time, Daniel didn't feel fear. He felt curiosity. What could he do today to guide his time even better? He sat on the edge of his bed and took a deep breath. His mind was calm, not cluttered. The day was full of possibilities. And as he looked at the clock, he thought to himself, yesterday was good. Today can be even better. That small thought, simple as it was, became the start of a new habit. Because time management is not only about one day. It is about building patterns, routines, and rhythm that support your life and your learning. Daniel opened his notebook. He decided to plan his day, but differently from before. Not in rigid blocks. Not in overwhelming lists. He wrote a daily rhythm, a simple structure that would guide him, while still allowing flexibility. He wrote, morning, focus on most important tasks. Mid-morning, practice English listening and reading. Afternoon, secondary tasks and small errands. Evening, reflection, review, and relaxation. Tick, tick, tick. Time was moving, but he was not chasing it. He was creating a gentle rhythm, a flow, a dance with the hours of the day. He started his morning with the most important task, writing a short report for a small team project. But this time, he did something new. Before opening his laptop, he closed his eyes and visualized the task. He imagined the sentences he would write, the structure of the report, the feeling of completion. This simple exercise took only 2 minutes, but it helped his mind focus. And here is an important secret. Visualization, even in small amounts, is a powerful tool for both time management and learning English. Your mind begins to prepare, to organize, to think clearly before you even start. Once he started writing, Daniel noticed something beautiful. Tick, tick, tick. The clock continued, but he was not racing. He wrote slowly, clearly, each sentence deliberate, each idea connected. And when he read aloud, his pronunciation and clarity improved naturally. It was as if the combination of calm focus and deliberate action was helping his English flow better. Simple words became easier to pronounce. Sentences became easier to understand. His mind, his writing, his speaking, all moved together like a calm river. After the report, Daniel moved to his mid-morning English practice. He decided to listen to a short story in English. But he didn't just listen passively. He paused after each sentence, repeated difficult words quietly, and tried to summarize what he heard in his own words. Tick, tick, tick. Time kept moving, but Daniel controlled his attention. And slowly, his listening skills improved. Each sentence felt clearer, each word easier to understand. And each summary he spoke out loud made his speaking skills stronger. By late morning, Daniel noticed something important. Small, repeated actions build momentum. This is true for both time management and English learning. One focused hour of work or listening may seem simple, almost too small. But repeated every day, it builds confidence, skill, and control. The rhythm of his day, small tasks, small steps, small victories, created energy. And energy made time feel longer, richer, more meaningful. After lunch, Daniel moved to secondary tasks, responding to emails, checking a few notifications, preparing a plan for tomorrow. He kept everything small and manageable. Tick, tick, tick. And he noticed something surprising. Distractions were no longer stressful. He acknowledged them, made a small note, and returned to his work. This ability to redirect attention is one of the most powerful skills in time management and English learning. By controlling focus, Daniel found that he could achieve more in less time and with less stress. In the afternoon, he practiced a new English technique, shadowing. He listened to a short story and repeated it aloud, trying to match the rhythm, tone, and pronunciation of the speaker. At first, it was difficult. Some words were unfamiliar. Sentences felt long and tricky. But he reminded himself, small steps, one sentence at a time. Tick, tick, tick. Slowly, slowly, he matched the rhythm. And each repetition made him feel more confident. By evening, he could repeat the story smoothly, naturally, and clearly. As the sun set, Daniel reflected on the day. He wrote in his notebook, "Today I moved with time. I followed a rhythm. I respected breaks. I focused on small steps." And he realized something important. Time management is not a single skill. It is a combination of small habits, focus, clarity, breaks, awareness, reflection. Tick, tick, tick. Each habit builds on the other. And together, they create calm, control, and confidence. That night, Daniel also realized something about balance. Time management is not about doing everything perfectly. It is about knowing what matters, what can wait, and what can be let go. Some tasks were completed. Some tasks would be finished tomorrow. And that is okay. Life is not about finishing everything. It is about making progress, consistently, with awareness. And as Daniel lay down to sleep, he noticed one final thing. His mind, which used to race and worry, was now calm. He had guided time today, faced challenges, practiced English, and built a rhythm that made life easier and learning more natural. And he felt a small but deep joy, a joy that comes from simple clarity, consistent action, and mindful presence. This, my friend, is the essence of building a daily rhythm. Small, deliberate steps, clear focus, patience, awareness. And the rhythm does not only help manage your day, it helps improve your English. Listening becomes easier. Speaking becomes smoother. Learning becomes natural. And most importantly, it creates confidence. Confidence to face challenges, to speak, to listen, to learn. But the journey does not end here. Even with a rhythm, life brings new challenges. Unexpected interruptions. Tough tasks. Moments of fatigue. And Daniel would face them soon. But now he had tools, calm focus, small steps, awareness, and a daily rhythm. Tick, tick, tick. Time moves. And Daniel moves with it. The lesson for you is clear. Start simple. Build small habits. Create your daily rhythm. Focus on one thing at a time. Pause, breathe, reflect. And with this rhythm, your day, your learning, your English skills, all improve naturally. Step by step. Moment by moment. Tick, tick, tick. The rhythm continues. And so can you. The air outside Daniel's window was crisp, the sunlight sharper, and even the ticking of his clock seemed louder, as if it wanted to remind him that today would not be easy. Daniel knew something important. The rhythm he had built over the past 2 days was working, but life would always test it. And today, he was about to face a bigger challenge than he had faced before. His professor had scheduled a surprise quiz, a part of the English listening and comprehension module. Daniel hadn't expected it. Normally, he would feel panic. His stomach would tighten. His mind would race. But today, he remembered his morning routine. Deep breath, awareness, small steps. Tick, tick, tick. He reminded himself, I will guide my time. I will not chase it. He sat at his desk, notebook open, pen ready. But before even opening the quiz, he paused and asked himself a simple question. What is the first small step I can take right now? Not worry, not panic, just the first step. And he wrote it down. Listen carefully to each question. Focus on understanding. Take notes. Simple, small, manageable. And this is the secret to both time management and learning English. Small steps create control, even in moments of pressure. The quiz began. Daniel listened to the first audio clip. Tick, tick, tick. The voice was fast at first. Some words were difficult. But Daniel had learned a new skill over the past days. He slowed down his mind, repeated difficult phrases quietly in his head, and focused on the main ideas. He didn't try to understand every single word at once. Instead, he focused on the flow, the rhythm, the overall meaning. One step at a time. Tick, tick, tick. By the third question, Daniel faced a difficult sentence. Words he didn't know appeared clearly. Normally, he would have panicked, re-listened frantically, and lost focus. But today, he stopped for a moment, breathed, and asked, what can I understand here? What is the main idea? He wrote his answer in short, simple words, focusing on meaning rather than perfection. And something amazing happened. He realized he understood more than he thought. Focusing on the bigger picture instead of every single word made comprehension much easier. The quiz continued. Each new clip was a test not only of Daniel's English, but of his time management and focus. Tick, tick, tick. He noticed the pattern. When he felt stress, he paused. When he felt confused, he broke the sentence into smaller parts. When he felt rushed, he reminded himself to slow down. And slowly, steadily, he moved through the quiz, not perfectly, but effectively. Step by step, moment by moment. After the quiz ended, Daniel felt something surprising. Relief, yes, but also pride. Not because the quiz was easy, it was not, but because he had managed himself. He had managed his time, his focus, and his attention. He had applied the lessons he had learned: small steps, clarity, rhythm, and awareness. And he wrote one line in his notebook: "Even under pressure, I can guide time." But Daniel's day was not over. The quiz had taken longer than he expected. Lunch passed quickly. And now he had a new challenge: preparing for a team presentation in English. His teammates relied on him. The presentation was in 2 hours, and it required both speaking and understanding English clearly. Tick, tick, tick. The clock moved forward. Daniel could feel the pressure creeping in. He paused, breathed, and wrote a new plan. Step 1. Review slides. Step 2. Practice speaking aloud. Step 3. Rehearse with team. Simple, small, clear. And with this step-by-step approach, he began reviewing the slides. He read each sentence aloud, noticed difficult words, repeated them slowly. He imagined how he would explain each slide to the team. Tick, tick, tick. The rhythm he had built over the past days guided him. Next, Daniel practiced speaking. He noticed his pronunciation, his tone, his pacing. Words that had seemed difficult before now flowed more naturally. And he didn't worry about being perfect. He focused on clarity, on meaning, on steady delivery. Tick, tick, tick. His confidence grew. And with confidence, learning becomes faster, smoother, more natural. Finally, Daniel rehearsed with his team. He listened carefully to their input, repeated points aloud, and adjusted sentences for clarity. And here is an important lesson: managing time and learning English both require active engagement. You must participate. You must practice. You must speak, listen, and act. Passive learning or waiting for perfect conditions does not create results. By the evening, Daniel reflected on his day. The surprise quiz, the presentation, the unexpected interruptions, all of them had tested his focus, patience, and time management. But by taking small steps, building rhythm, and staying aware, he had succeeded. He wrote one line in his notebook: "Challenges are opportunities, not obstacles." Simple words, powerful meaning. And as Daniel lay down to sleep that night, he noticed a deep truth. True control of time is not about rigid schedules. It is not about never having interruptions. It is about being present, aware, and deliberate in every moment. Tick, tick, tick. Time moves, yes. But when you move with it, you can face any challenge, learn any skill, and grow steadily. The big lesson from this day is clear. Even when pressure appears, when tasks feel overwhelming, when life interrupts, small steps, calm focus, and deliberate action create results. Step by step. Tick, tick, tick. And every day, every moment, you can practice this skill, improving your English, your confidence, and your ability to manage time. Daniel closed his notebook, smiled, and whispered quietly to himself, "Time is my partner, my guide, my teacher." And for the first time, he felt complete confidence, not in doing everything perfectly, but in knowing that he could handle anything that came, one step at a time. And this, my friend, is a lesson for you too. Every time you feel pressure, pause. Breathe. Break tasks into small steps. Focus on clarity, not perfection. Build rhythm. And remember, tick by tick, moment by moment, you can manage time, improve your English, and grow steadily. The night after the big test of focus was quiet. Daniel lay on his bed, looking at the ceiling, listening to the faint ticking of the clock on his wall. Tick, tick, tick. The sound was steady, rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. And for the first time in many weeks, Daniel felt truly still. He did not need to rush. He did not need to worry. The day had been full of challenges, but he had moved through them one step at a time. And now, in the silence, he began to reflect. Reflection is a powerful tool, both for managing time and for learning English. Tick, tick, tick. Daniel thought back over the past week. He remembered the days when he had rushed, when time had seemed like an enemy, when learning English felt frustrating and impossible. His mind had been cluttered, scattered, filled with too many tasks at once. And in those days, even a simple assignment could feel overwhelming. But now, something had changed. He realized that the secret was not in doing more. The secret was in doing less, but better. Focus on one task. Take small steps. Respect the rhythm of the day. Allow yourself breaks. Pause. Breathe. Reflect. And slowly, steadily, progress happens. Tick, tick, tick. Every day, every moment, every choice contributes to a larger pattern. Daniel opened his notebook and began to write. He wrote about what he had learned in small, simple sentences. Small steps create big change. Focus is stronger than speed. Awareness guides success. Rhythm creates calm. Each line was clear. Each line was deliberate. And as he wrote, he noticed a deeper truth forming in his mind. Time management is not only about tasks. It is about life, about learning, about growth, about how we move through each moment with attention and purpose. He thought about English learning in the same way. In the past, he had tried to memorize long lists of words, to study grammar rules quickly, to finish exercises without understanding them. And it had been exhausting. Now he approached learning differently. Tick, tick, tick. He focused on listening carefully, speaking slowly, repeating phrases, understanding meaning, and practicing consistently. Each small step improved his understanding, strengthened his skills, and built confidence. Daniel realized something important. Time management and language learning are deeply connected. Both require presence, patience, and deliberate action. You cannot rush either without losing quality. You cannot ignore either without losing progress. Tick, tick, tick. By managing his time, he created space to learn English. By practicing English deliberately, he learned to focus and respect his time. Each step reinforced the other. He also reflected on interruptions. Life always brings unexpected events, messages, emails, surprise tasks, or personal obligations. At first, these interruptions can feel stressful, overwhelming, or discouraging. But Daniel had learned to approach them differently. Tick, tick, tick. He allowed small pauses, made simple plans, and prioritized effectively. He set boundaries politely, clearly, and confidently. And in doing so, he realized that challenges are not obstacles. They are opportunities to test skills, learn patience, and build resilience. Daniel smiled as he remembered yesterday's quiz and the team presentation. Both had been moments of pressure. Both had tested him. And both had been opportunities to practice focus, patience, and deliberate action. Tick, tick, tick. In learning English, he saw the same pattern. Challenges, difficult phrases, or unclear sentences were not reasons to give up. They were chances to practice, to repeat, to listen more carefully, to speak more clearly, and to grow. He wrote one final reflection in his notebook for the night. Time is my partner. Challenges are my teachers. Small steps lead to mastery. Rhythm brings calm. Presence creates understanding. Simple words. Powerful meaning. And as he wrote, Daniel felt a deep satisfaction, a calm confidence that came not from finishing everything perfectly, but from guiding his time, focusing his mind, and acting deliberately. He thought about tomorrow. Tomorrow would bring new tasks. Perhaps new interruptions. Perhaps new challenges. Tick, tick, tick. But Daniel was ready. He had learned a key lesson. It is not the tasks or the clock that define the day. It is his approach, his focus, his presence, his awareness. And with this understanding, every day can be guided with intention, every learning task can be approached with clarity, and every moment can be meaningful. Daniel also realized the importance of balance. Time management is not only about work or study. It is also about rest, reflection, and joy. Tick, tick, tick. Each day should include moments to pause, to breathe, to enjoy simple pleasures, to notice small details, and to reflect. These moments recharge energy, strengthen focus, and support both learning and well-being. He remembered something else. He had been learning English not only to complete tasks, but to communicate clearly, to understand others, and to express himself. And in guiding his time, he created the space to practice speaking, listening, and reflecting. Tick, tick, tick. The two skills, time management and English learning, were intertwined. Each reinforced the other. And slowly, steadily, Daniel felt a transformation occurring. He was calmer, more confident, and more capable than before. As the night deepened, Daniel closed his notebook, placed it carefully on his desk, and lay back. He listened to the quiet ticking of the clock. Tick, tick, tick. He felt gratitude. Gratitude for the lessons of time. Gratitude for the opportunities to practice, to focus, to reflect. Gratitude for the small steps that led to big change. Tick, tick, tick. And as he drifted toward sleep, he repeated one final thought in his mind. Every moment matters. Every choice matters. Every step matters. And with awareness, patience, and presence, I can guide my time, my learning, and my life. Simple words. Gentle rhythm. Deep truth. Tick, tick, tick. My friend, this is what reflection teaches us. Time management is not only about schedules. English learning is not only about words. Both are about life, awareness, and deliberate practice. Tick, tick, tick. Small steps, patience, rhythm, and presence create mastery. And this mastery, quietly, steadily, transforms our days, our learning, and ourselves. Daniel woke up feeling lighter, calmer, more confident than he had in months. Tick, tick, tick. The clock on his wall reminded him once again, time never stops. But now Daniel no longer felt pushed by it. Instead, he felt guided by it, walking alongside it, moving with a rhythm he had discovered and built over the past days. He sat on the edge of his bed, notebook open, pen in hand. Today was not about urgent tasks, quizzes, or presentations. Today was about reflection, planning, and practice, the foundations of long-term success. Tick, tick, tick. Daniel wrote a single line at the top of the page. Today I strengthen habits, practice focus, and build consistency. Simple words. Powerful purpose. And with this line, he began his day deliberately, step by step. Daniel started with a small task he had been avoiding, reviewing vocabulary he had learned in English. Normally, he would try to memorize long lists, scanning quickly and forgetting soon after. But today, he approached it differently. Tick, tick, tick. He reviewed 5 words at a time, saying them aloud, imagining sentences, and creating a mental story with each one. By linking words to meaning, context, and imagery, he remembered them naturally. Small steps, consistent practice, and focus. This was the method that worked not only for learning English, but for life. Afterward, Daniel moved to a reading exercise. He read a short story aloud, paying attention to pronunciation, intonation, and flow. Tick, tick, tick. He paused after each paragraph, repeated difficult phrases, and tried to summarize the meaning in his own words. Slowly, the story became clear, the sentences easier to repeat, and his confidence grew. And Daniel realized an important truth: learning English is like managing time. You cannot rush. You cannot skip steps. Progress happens through patience, repetition, and deliberate action. By late morning, Daniel had created a plan for his day. But unlike before, this plan was not rigid. It included small tasks, moments of practice, breaks, and reflection. Tick, tick, tick. Each part of the plan served a purpose. And each small success reinforced his confidence. The rhythm he built allowed him to move efficiently and calmly, even when tasks were challenging or unexpected interruptions appeared. As the day progressed, Daniel encountered small obstacles. His internet connection slowed while he was listening to an audio lesson. A notification popped up on his phone. A message arrived from a friend. Tick, tick, tick. Normally, these interruptions would have frustrated him, scattered his focus, and created anxiety. But now he approached each challenge deliberately. He paused, assessed, prioritized, and moved on. Small steps, awareness, presence, these tools guided him. During the afternoon, Daniel practiced speaking in English with a friend online. At first, some words were difficult to pronounce. Sentences felt awkward. But he remembered the principle of small steps and repetition. Tick, tick, tick. He repeated phrases, corrected mistakes gently, and continued the conversation patiently. And slowly, naturally, the words began to flow. Confidence replaced hesitation. Flow replaced awkwardness. And he realized something important: transformation is a process. It does not happen instantly. It happens gradually, quietly, steadily, moment by moment. Daniel also reflected on how his understanding of time had changed. Tick, tick, tick. Time was no longer something to chase, fear, or fight. It was a partner, a guide, a framework that could support growth. Every task, every lesson, every conversation could be managed effectively when approached with awareness, small steps, and calm focus. And this understanding extended beyond English learning. It applied to life itself: studying, work, relationships, and personal growth. By evening, Daniel reviewed all the work he had done throughout the day. The small tasks, the vocabulary, the reading, the speaking practice, each one had contributed to progress. Tick, tick, tick. He noticed that consistency, patience, and deliberate action were more powerful than speed, force, or multitasking. Small steps taken every day build mastery, skill, and confidence. And that was the transformation he had been seeking. He wrote in his notebook, "Consistency is the key." Small steps, repeated daily, lead to transformation. Awareness guides time. Presence strengthens learning. Patience creates mastery. And as he wrote, Daniel felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Not from completing tasks perfectly, but from guiding his time, practicing deliberately, and moving steadily toward growth. That night, Daniel also reflected on challenges from the past week. The urgent assignment, the surprise quiz, the team presentation, each had tested him. Tick, tick, tick. But rather than being overwhelmed, he had faced them deliberately, calmly, step by step. And this reflection reinforced an important truth: challenges are not obstacles. They're teachers. Every difficulty contains an opportunity to strengthen focus, learn skills, and build confidence. Daniel's transformation was not only practical but emotional. He no longer felt rushed, anxious, or overwhelmed. He felt calm, confident, and capable. Tick, tick, tick. Each day had been a series of small victories. And these victories were cumulative. Step by step, day by day, momentum built. Confidence grew. Mastery deepened. And Daniel realized that transformation is less about completing everything and more about building habits that guide life forward. He also thought about how this transformation applied to English learning. Tick, tick, tick. Patience, repetition, presence, and small steps made listening easier, speaking clearer, and comprehension stronger. Learning was no longer stressful. It was deliberate, manageable, and even enjoyable. And as he practiced each day, English became natural, like a rhythm flowing with the rhythm of life. Before sleep, Daniel wrote one final line in his notebook. I am the guide of my time. I am the student of my life. I am patient, deliberate, and present. Step by step, day by day, I transform. Tick, tick, tick. Simple words. Strong meaning. And as he drifted into rest, Daniel felt something extraordinary, a quiet confidence that he could handle the challenges of tomorrow, continue learning English, and maintain control over his time. This, my friend, is the moment of transformation. It does not come from rushing. It does not come from pressure. It comes from calm focus, awareness, deliberate action, and small, consistent steps. Tick, tick, tick. And just like Daniel, you too can experience this transformation. One step at a time. One moment at a time. One day at a time. Daniel woke with a new kind of energy. Tick, tick, tick. The clock on his wall continued its rhythm, steady and calm, but Daniel no longer felt pressured by it. He had moved through challenges, built focus, practiced English, and transformed his daily habits. And now, a new thought entered his mind. I want to help others learn this too. Daniel remembered the early days when he had struggled with English. He recalled feeling overwhelmed, unsure, and frustrated. He remembered rushing through tasks, multitasking endlessly, and still feeling like he wasn't learning anything. Tick, tick, tick. He realized that if he could guide himself through these challenges, perhaps he could help others do the same. And this was the beginning of a new journey, mentoring and sharing lessons. He opened his notebook and began to write. He wrote down the principles that had guided him. Small steps. Presence. Awareness. Consistency. Patience. Deliberate action. Rhythm. Reflection. Simple words, yet each held a powerful meaning. He knew that by sharing these lessons clearly, using simple language, he could help others practice English while also improving their time management and focus. Tick, tick, tick. Later that morning, Daniel invited a friend online who was learning English to join him in a short practice session. He decided to use storytelling, one of the most effective ways to practice listening, speaking, and comprehension. Tick, tick, tick. He began slowly, clearly, narrating a short story about his own experience with managing time. He used simple words, repeated key phrases, and paused often to allow his friend to repeat sentences aloud. At first, his friend struggled. Some words were unfamiliar. Some sentences felt long. But Daniel patiently guided him. Listen slowly. Repeat after me. Focus on meaning, not perfection. Tick, tick, tick. And gradually, his friend's confidence grew. Words became easier to pronounce. Sentences flowed more naturally. Listening became easier. And Daniel felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Teaching, he realized, reinforced his own learning as well. After the session, Daniel reflected on the power of mentorship. Tick, tick, tick. Sharing knowledge does not only help others. It deepens your own understanding, strengthens your skills, and builds confidence. By explaining concepts, demonstrating techniques, and guiding others step by step, you practice clarity, patience, and focus, the very same skills that helped him transform his own learning and time management. In the afternoon, Daniel decided to create a simple guide for daily practice. He wrote it in clear, beginner-friendly English so that others could follow. Tick, tick, tick. The guide included daily steps, morning reflection, focused work on important tasks, short breaks, English listening exercises, speaking practice, and evening reflection. Each step was explained clearly, using simple words and examples. And as he wrote, Daniel realized something important. The act of organizing knowledge, step by step, mirrors the process of managing time itself. By late afternoon, Daniel practiced English with another small activity, reading aloud and summarizing. Tick, tick, tick. He encouraged his friends to do the same, explaining slowly, repeating key phrases, and demonstrating patience. And as he observed their progress, he noticed something amazing: the small steps, clarity, and rhythm that had transformed his own learning could transform theirs too. Teaching became a natural extension of mastering skills. Later, Daniel reflected on the deeper life lesson behind all of this. Tick, tick, tick. Time management, learning English, handling challenges, mentoring others, all of these practices were connected. They were part of a larger skill: how to live deliberately, mindfully, and effectively. Each small choice, each focused step, each moment of awareness contributed to growth, confidence, and mastery. That evening, Daniel closed his notebook and looked back on the week. He remembered the early mornings of stress and confusion, the unexpected assignments, the surprise quiz, the team presentation, and the small steps he had taken to build rhythm and presence. And here is the lesson for you, my friend. When you master your own focus, practice patience, take deliberate steps, and build a rhythm in your life and English learning, you reach a place where you can help others too. Teaching, sharing, mentoring, these are the natural results of consistent, mindful practice. Each step reinforces the last, creating a cycle of growth, confidence, and mastery. Tick, tick, tick. Daniel smiled as he drifted to sleep. He knew tomorrow would bring new challenges, new lessons, and new opportunities to practice. But he also knew something even more important: the skills he had built, calm focus, presence, small steps, deliberate action, and daily rhythm, were permanent. They were tools he could carry for life. Tick, tick, tick. And by sharing them, he could help others carry them too. This, my friend, is the next stage of transformation. Not only mastering yourself, your time, and your learning, but also creating impact beyond yourself. Tick, tick, tick. Step by step, moment by moment, one day at a time. And the journey continues. Daniel woke to a familiar rhythm. Tick, tick, tick. The clock on his wall marked the passage of time, but now it felt like a friend, not a threat. Over the past days, Daniel had faced challenges, built focus, learned English, and shared lessons with others. But today, he realized, was about long-term consistency, the ability to maintain habits, balance priorities, and persevere through life's fluctuations. Daniel started his morning as usual, writing a short reflection in his notebook. He thought about the past week, the urgent assignments, the surprise quiz, the team presentation, the mentoring sessions. Tick, tick, tick. Each event had tested him in different ways. And the lesson was clear: success is not about handling a single challenge. It is about maintaining focus and discipline every day through small steps, consistently. He planned his day carefully, but with flexibility. Tick, tick, tick. Morning would be for focused work, mid-morning for English listening and speaking practice, afternoon for small tasks and review, and evening for reflection and rest. Daniel knew that balance was as important as productivity. Overworking or rushing might produce results for a single day, but without balance, progress would be unsustainable. Tick, tick, tick. During the morning, Daniel focused on a new English writing assignment. He wrote slowly, deliberately, sentence by sentence, checking grammar and clarity. Tick, tick, tick. He repeated difficult words aloud, listened to his own voice, and corrected pronunciation. Small steps, repeated daily, were producing noticeable improvement. And he realized an important truth: mastery is built through incremental, consistent effort, not shortcuts or speed. Later, Daniel faced a challenge. A friend asked for help with a personal project. Normally, he might have felt pressure to do everything at once. But now he paused, breathed. Tick, tick, tick. He prioritized, set boundaries, and offered help without sacrificing his own focus. This moment reinforced the lesson of balance. Time management is not only about tasks, but also about relationships, personal growth, and mental well-being. By afternoon, Daniel practiced speaking with his online study group. Tick, tick, tick. He guided them through storytelling exercises, encouraged repetition, and provided gentle corrections. Teaching others reinforced his own understanding. And he noticed something powerful: consistency in practice, whether alone or with others, compounds over time. Each session, each repetition, each step built skill, confidence, and momentum. Evening brought reflection. Daniel opened his notebook and wrote, "Consistency builds trust, trust in myself, trust in time, trust in growth." Balance creates energy, energy for focus, learning, and relationships. Perseverance turns small steps into transformation. Tick, tick, tick. Simple words, clear meaning. And as he wrote, Daniel felt a deep sense of calm confidence, knowing that progress is cumulative and each day builds the next. He thought about setbacks too. Not every day had been smooth. Some days, unexpected interruptions, difficult assignments, or fatigue had tested him. Tick, tick, tick. But he realized that setbacks are not failures. They're opportunities to adjust, refocus, and continue. Perseverance is not about never failing. It is about continuing despite challenges, maintaining rhythm, and practicing small steps consistently. Daniel also reflected on long-term goals. Tick, tick, tick. Learning English was not just for passing quizzes or assignments. It was for clear communication, confident expression, and personal growth. Time management was not just for daily tasks. It was for creating a life of purpose, calm, and fulfillment. Small steps, repeated daily, created a compound effect: improvement, confidence, and transformation that grows stronger over time. That night, Daniel felt a sense of accomplishment. Tick, tick, tick. Not because everything was perfect, but because he had applied his principles consistently, balanced his time, and persevered. The combination of awareness, rhythm, small steps, and reflection had allowed him to grow steadily, improve his English, manage tasks, and support others. And this, he realized, was the essence of sustainable success. He wrote a final line in his notebook: consistency, balance, perseverance. These are the pillars of growth. Small steps, deliberate actions, daily reflection. These are the tools. Tick by tick, moment by moment, transformation happens. Simple words, yet each one carried deep meaning. Tick, tick, tick. And as he lay down to sleep, Daniel felt ready for tomorrow, confident that the rhythm he had built would continue to guide him through challenges, learning, and life itself. My friend, this is the essential lesson for you. Maintaining consistency, finding balance, and persevering through challenges are more important than any single accomplishment. Tick, tick, tick. Each day is an opportunity to practice focus, clarity, and calm. Step by step, moment by moment, you build mastery, confidence, and transformation. Daniel woke to sunlight spilling softly across his desk. Tick, tick, tick. The clock reminded him, as always, that time moves forward, relentlessly and steadily. But Daniel no longer felt hurried, anxious, or pressured. Over the past week, he had learned, practiced, and transformed. And now he was ready to reflect on the bigger picture, to integrate all the lessons he had discovered about time management, English learning, and life itself. He began by recalling his first days, when tasks felt overwhelming and English seemed impossible. Tick, tick, tick. He remembered rushing through assignments, multitasking, and feeling frustrated. Words were difficult to understand. Sentences felt long, and each interruption felt like a catastrophe. He realized just how far he had come. Daniel opened his notebook and wrote down the key principles he had learned, one by one. Tick, tick, tick. Small steps, presence, awareness, deliberate action, patience, rhythm, reflection, consistency, balance, perseverance. Each word held a story. Each principle had been tested, refined, and proven over days of practice. He reflected on how these principles connected. Tick, tick, tick. Small steps create clarity. Presence allows focus. Awareness guides attention. Deliberate action produces results. Patience ensures understanding. Rhythm sustains energy. Reflection builds insight. Consistency compounds progress. Balance maintains health. Perseverance carries you through challenges. And together, these principles formed a framework not only for managing time, but also for learning English and for living a thoughtful, productive life. Daniel thought back to the exercises he had practiced in English. Listening carefully. Repeating phrases aloud. Summarizing sentences. Speaking slowly and clearly. Tick, tick, tick. Each action was small, but cumulative. Each moment of focused practice improved comprehension, pronunciation, and confidence. And he realized that learning English is much like guiding time. Both require deliberate steps, patience, and consistency. Next, Daniel considered the challenges he had faced: urgent assignments, surprise quizzes, team presentations, and unexpected interruptions. Tick, tick, tick. He realized these events were not obstacles, but opportunities to apply his principles. By slowing down, focusing on small steps, and maintaining awareness, he turned stress into growth. Each challenge reinforced confidence, clarity, and skill. And he knew this would continue. Life will always bring new challenges, but now he had tools to manage them. Daniel then reflected on mentoring others. Tick, tick, tick. Teaching friends and guiding them through English practice had deepened his own understanding. Sharing knowledge reinforced rhythm, focus, and awareness. It reminded him that mastery is not only personal, but also relational. The ability to help others reflects and strengthens your own skills. By mid-afternoon, Daniel felt a sense of integration. Tick, tick, tick. He could see the connection between time management, learning English, and life itself. Small, deliberate steps create control. Awareness transforms stress into clarity. Repetition builds mastery. Reflection strengthens insight. Consistency, balance, and perseverance ensure long-term growth. And the rhythm of daily practice allows skill, confidence, and understanding to accumulate naturally. He wrote one final reflection in his notebook: "Time is my partner. Challenges are my teachers. Small steps, practiced daily, build mastery. Awareness, rhythm, and reflection guide my life. Learning is growth. Growth is transformation. Step by step, day by day, moment by moment. Tick, tick, tick." Simple words, deep meaning. And as Daniel wrote, he felt a profound sense of calm and confidence. Daniel thought about you, the learner watching, reading, or listening to his story. Tick, tick, tick. He wanted you to understand this. Mastery is not instant. Confidence does not come from rushing. Success is not about completing everything perfectly. It comes from small steps, consistent practice, deliberate focus, and the courage to face challenges patiently. Every moment matters. Every choice matters. Every action matters. Tick, tick, tick. He imagined the future, new assignments, new challenges, new opportunities to practice English, to manage time, and to grow. Tick, tick, tick. And he knew he could handle them calmly, steadily, and deliberately. This was not a feeling of temporary motivation. It was a deep, enduring confidence built through experience, reflection, and repeated practice. That evening, Daniel prepared for rest. Tick, tick, tick. He closed his notebook, set it carefully on the desk, and looked around his room. Each small action, each thoughtful choice, each moment of awareness had led him here. He felt gratitude for the challenges, for the lessons, and for the rhythm he had built. And he understood that the journey would continue tomorrow, next week, and beyond, with each step, each moment, reinforcing clarity, skill, and confidence. Finally, Daniel whispered softly to himself, "I guide my time. I practice my English. I face challenges. I reflect, learn, and grow. One step at a time. One moment at a time. Tick, tick, tick. I am capable. I am patient. I am present. I am transformed." And with that, he drifted into sleep, carrying calm, confidence, and the knowledge that transformation is not a single event, but the accumulation of deliberate, mindful steps over time. My friend, the lesson is clear. You can apply these same principles in your life. Tick, tick, tick. Approach challenges calmly. Take small steps. Build rhythm. Practice consistently. Reflect daily. Balance priorities. Persevere patiently. And in doing so, your learning, whether English or life skills, becomes natural, meaningful, and transformative. Tick, tick, tick. Time moves forward. But when you move with it deliberately, patiently, and with awareness, you can guide it, learn from it, and grow through it. Step by step. Moment by moment. Day by day. This is your journey. This is your transformation. And like Daniel, you can master time, English, and life itself. Thank you so much for joining today's lesson here at Mr. English Lab. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below telling me what you want to learn next. Your support helps the channel grow and helps me create more lessons for you. Take care, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next class.